JD, you were part of one of the most infamous moments in MythBuster history that, we really didn't talk about on the show because something actually did go wrong. Now, this is something that we couldn't predict.
Welcome, Mythfits.
Hi, everybody. Mythfits are back. Welcome to the episode. This is going to be a really fun one, especially if you were a big fan of MythBusters. My name's Kari Byron.
I'm Tory Belleci. Now, Kari, we have a guest on the show that I am so excited to talk about because he was pretty much another character on the show. We used him so many times on MythBusters, and he's a good friend of ours. So I haven't seen him in forever. So I'm really looking forward to catching up with him. But the other reason I love talking to him is because he is an expert in explosives.
Oh, yeah. Sergeant J.D. Nelson, or as we used to tease him, we used to call him Sergeant Hollywood because, in fact, I think all his friends did as well because he became one of the characters on the show. He was actually texting me last night, so I know he was excited to come in here and talk to us today.
Yeah, he was like, is this going to be live or is it edited? And I was
Don't
like,
worry.
It's live. I mean, it's 100% live. Don't screw up. But he's used to it. He's used to going live. He used to go live on national news broadcasts when something bad would go wrong in the Bay Area.
I had to actually, I had to rush here today because last night I went to a concert with my daughter, and a friend of ours has a daughter the same age, and we've been friends since our daughters were both like in preschool. And so she bought us tickets to go see The Weeknd and Playboy Cardi, and it was so much fun watching our daughters just singing everything, and we were up super late. But because we tested tipsy versus tired a long time ago, actually also at the bomb range, and found out that you're in more danger when you're driving tired than tipsy, like that stuck in my head. So last night I had been on my feet and dancing and screaming, and all of us had lost our voices. So we just got a hotel and we stayed there because it was not close to home, so that I could just like wake up, drink coffee, and drive my daughter home safe today. But man, I slept in a little too late. So I got here just like as fast as I could and like slammed in the seat. I was like, okay, time for Mythfits. I'm ready.
Well, I am glad that you made it because we are going to have fun talking with JD today.
Tory, do you remember when we were testing tipsy versus tired? I learned a lot about you that day.
I remember when we were testing tipsy versus tired. That was kind of like in the heyday of when I was going out a lot and drinking a lot. So my tolerance was really high. And so we were all trying to get to a point where we weren't drunk. So 0.08 is the legal amount of alcohol you can have in California. So we were trying to get at 0.07879, just tipsy, but not legally over the limit. And so I remember they were like, what's your drink of choice? We were going to each do shots of any kind of alcohol and then wait till we breathe a 0.079. And then we were going to drive a course and see how we did. What were you drinking?
Oh, I was drinking the same thing. I was just, I learned some things about myself that day that I don't think they explained in the show because it didn't work out very well, which is that my control test was not as good as after I had one drink because
you drove completely sober. Your driving when you're sober was worse than when you had a few cocktails.
I just had one. I just had one drink. And for some reason I could concentrate. Maybe I was concentrating harder. I was more relaxed, but they're like, this will not do. You need to have another drink because you're driving a little too well now. And I'm just like, I think it was just because like, I'm a little bit of a manic person. I got a little bit of the ADHD kind of going on. So like,
That's
I think I
crazy.
just like all of a sudden was like, okay, now I can do this. And that's the day I also learned that you had such an amazing tolerance. Like you were so good at driving no matter what. Didn't matter if you were tired. Didn't matter if you were tipsy. Like you're just such a good driver.
Well, actually, when I was tired, I drove terribly. But when we were doing the drinking, I remember they were like, take 3 shots. I had tequila because they're like, what kind of tequila do you want? I was like, I want Patron Silver, right? Because it was like,
Anything you want.
If production's buying it, I want some good stuff. And so I did 3 shots of tequila, and they were like, okay, here's the breathalyzer, blow into it. And I blew into it, and I wasn't anywhere near 0.07, right?
How is it even possible?
And so they were like, oh, give it 20 minutes. Get it 20 minutes. Got to get through the bloodstream. And so I like blew like a 0.069 or something. And then all of a sudden I wait 20 minutes and I blow again and it's 0.065. My alcohol level started dipping, and they're like, give him another 2 shots. So I did 2 more shots. This ought to do it. It ended up taking, this is embarrassing, almost 8 shots. I think it was like 8 shots. And at that point, I hit 0.079. So like, okay, you're time to take the test.
You're just
So
made of something special. I don't know. There's something about you are like a machine.
I don't know what it was. I mean, genetic or just because my tolerance level was high. So I ran the course and didn't hit a single cone. And then at the end of the course, you're supposed to parallel park. I parallel parked perfectly, didn't bump into any of the other 2 cars, get out. And the CHP goes, we don't worry about guys like this. And it was so like alarming that the producer was like, okay, I need you to drive the course again and at least hit 1 cone. Like this doesn't look good. This is not looking good for the myth.
Yeah, but no matter what, I mean, the results were still the same. Like driving tired, I did so bad. It's so bad to drive tired. It's like,
yeah,
I don't think people think
sure.
of that because they're like, I'm stone cold sober, but like, man, you are tired. You miss things. You can't pay attention. Like I definitely took some cones out. So that I'm really cautious, especially when I have my daughter. I don't have a drink and drive. I definitely don't drive when I'm sleepy or tired or like even when I'm sick. I'm just like, eh. And luckily, I live in San Francisco, so we've got them in autonomous vehicles. I can just bring one of the robots to drive me around.
You could just hire one of those and fall asleep. Because of our guest who's coming on, we used to do so many experiments out at the Alameda Sheriff's Department. I mean, we did so many experiments out there. I feel like we completely took advantage of them.
Oh, yeah. And he became a longtime friend. Like he wasn't just somebody we worked with. Like we still talk to him. I still text him every now and then. I remember during COVID or when I'd go on like bad dates, like I would text him and his wife and be like, "Oh my God, give me advice." Like he's a friend. I love his whole family.
Yeah, no, he's awesome.
I'm excited. Let's just bring him on. I'm ready to talk to JD.
Let's get JD on. You guys are in for a treat.
Coming up, Sergeant JD Nelson, bomb tech extraordinaire, and pretty much the 6th MythBuster.
Welcome back to Mythfits. We are about to introduce our next guest. He is basically a member of MythBusters because he has been on so many episodes of the show and he has helped us out so many times, helped us pull off crazy things and helped us get out of crazy situations. Our good friend, retired Sergeant JD Nelson. What's up, JD dude?
Nelson!
Oh, dude, you guys found me.
So good to see you, man.
I don't have social media, so sometimes I'm not the easiest guy to find, but you guys found me. And look what I found this, haven't worn this since 2022. So
I know you look very official.
So you just put that on so you don't like just walk around the house with that these days.
No. This is all in the scrap heap now. Can I start with a complaint?
Yeah. Go for it.
Sure.
My complaint is, you guys have been off the air for 10 years, right?
Yeah, about that. Mm-hmm.
How is it that Kari Byron looks better than she did 10 years ago, and me and Tory look like we've aged like milk? I don't get it. I don't understand this.
Baby, I'm just a late bloomer. It's like a fine wine that comes with being an older woman. You know?
That is so awesome.
You're much hotter after you get some wisdom. I think we need to introduce you a little more to the audience, just in case you weren't I don't know why anybody's watching the show if they didn't watch MythBusters for a million years, but JD Nelson came to help us with the funnest part of the show. So when we needed to blow something up or crash a car or, I don't know, launch a cannonball, we came to JD for some help because we found very quickly that you get experts to help you. If you want to set something on fire, there's a fireman. If you want to blow something up, there's a bomb tech. And we always wanted to blow something up, and you were the one that helped us figure out how to do that. So like pyrotechnics in LA, we had JD Nelson up in the north. So I think that you are such an important component to the birth of all of the craziness of MythBusters that like we should really give you the proper introduction. Like, how did you get involved with our weird and wild show?
So at the time, I was a fairly new bomb tech. I had gone through the hazardous device school in Huntsville, Alabama, where every bomb tech in the nation goes to. In fact, other nations go there as well. And so it was right around season 2 for MythBusters. Linda, who I know has been on your podcast, she contacted Frank Doyle. Frank Doyle was a very well-known bomb tech for the FBI. And Frank is a great bomb tech. What he didn't have was a bomb range because, you know, most people don't have one of those in their backyard when you're retired. You know, I might be able to get away with one here. I got a little bit of land, but...
and Linda Wolkovich, who is our producer extraordinaire, was the one that could always resource the most interesting things. So she's the one that found you and Frank. Right.
So Frank lived in the Bay Area, and he contacted our bomb squad commander at the time, and he said, "Hey, can you do me a favor for and go out and do this thing called MythBusters?" I had never heard of it, and
nobody had at that point.
I know
nobody had heard of it, and I said, "Sure, I'll go do it."
But you know what? I feel like we use the bomb range specifically for firearms and explosives, but then it got to a point where I feel like we just took advantage of you guys. Like anything we wanted to do that was remotely weird and it had nothing to do with an explosive or a firearm, we would call you guys up and be like, "Hey, could we come out to the range and use it to do this?"
Remember, I think it was your group that rolled the
giant Lego ball.
The Lego ball down the hill.
So this is to my point. Like, okay, we're going to build a giant ball out of Legos, and you guys had this really long paved road, and we were going to roll it down the hill because it was a viral video that we had seen, and we were retesting it. So we spent weeks building this giant ball, and I remember there was this big concern that what if the ball got too much momentum and actually broke through the fence of the prison and allowed, a breach in the security. And so we put like a great all at the bottom of the hill, and we put all these vehicle barriers, thinking that, oh my God, what if this thing gets away from us? We pushed it down the hill, and the thing just disintegrated like within a couple of feet. It was like so anticlimactic.
It was just a pixelated rainbow, just nothing.
Oh, it was so anticlimactic.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of awesome because it was like very definitively busted. Like right there, you're just like something that you spent weeks building when it gets crushed instantly. I thought it was kind of fun.
But I mean, just such a ridiculous request from us, right? It's like, hey, can we come and roll a giant Lego ball down a road by your prison?
I was always nervous about anytime there was myth busting going on because you don't want something bad to happen. And that one, I remember going, "Oh God, if this thing actually does go crash through that fence,
could you imagine?
I'll never hear the end of this thing." I was pretty confident that it wouldn't, but you never know. And I had been wrong before about certain things. So
when you were working with us, what did you think was the most ridiculous thing, either behind the scenes or in front of the camera, that you ever had to deal with? I know that there was one day that you had something else to do, and you sent somebody in your place, and we set off something called creamer cannon.
Oh, yeah.
We blew like 500 pounds of creamer up into the air with an air cannon, and we put a flare in it. And it caught fire in the air. It was just based off of a silly YouTube video
like
where people were sprinkling coffee creamer and lighting it on fire. So we supersized it and made a huge inferno. And everybody that day kind of underestimated what was happening. We were a little too close. We didn't have blast shields. But when this creamer went into the air, the wind shifted, and when it caught fire, because at first we didn't think it was working, and then all of a sudden this cloud just turned into just like a devil cloud, went and started coming at us, and all of us had our sort of oh shit moment, and like realized that I'm the friend that uses my friends as a human shield because I put Tory in front of me and then I ran up the hill. And I know that day, that poor bomb tech was just like, today's JD's day off. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I was there for the morning part of that. I missed the
right.
final go. Jim Lynn came in. You guys worked with him
Yeah,
a couple times.
totally.
And yeah, that happened. And he told me, he's like, yeah, that was a little bit more than we thought.
It was nuts because we were all worried that we weren't going to have enough air pressure to launch 500 pounds of the creamer. And so we were all waiting for that event to happen. And when we were able to launch it into the air, we were like, yes, it worked. But then all of a sudden, the flare that was inside the cloud of creamer dust caught on fire, and it just became this huge, like 50-foot wall of flames. And then the wind shifted, and it just started coming towards us. And and it was like, over the hill, it's all dry grass. So it's like, we're going to burn down Dublin. Great. Way to go, MythBusters. But I remember after we were done, he was like, I gotta check my underwear.
So
it was the best smelling myth though, because coffee creamer is made of so much sugar. Just everything smelled like we had roasted a marshmallow. I mean, there was a fine, crispy layer on everything from the ladders to the cameras. It was kind of delicious.
one of the reasons why you guys like coming out to the bomb range so much is because a lot of your other myths are, well, disgusting. They got dead things and you talked about the, spitting into the beaker and, how it smelled. But when you come to the bomb range, all you're going to do is blow something up. It's very familiar for everybody because, for your crew, they know where the outlets are. They know how to set things up. They know where the cameras have to be. So it was very familiar for everybody. And you didn't have, some disgusting smell all the time when you come out to the bomb range. So that's why usually when you guys showed up, you guys were so happy. You were so happy to be there.
JD, you were part of one of the most infamous moments in MythBuster history that, we really didn't talk about on the show because something actually did go wrong. And it was the legend of the Cannonball. Now, this is something that we couldn't predict and something that we couldn't replicate even if we tried. If we had heard the story, we couldn't make the story happen. So from, what we've put together, we were shooting a cannon at the bomb range, and we had done this before.
For whatever reason, we needed to make a cannon to get the velocity that we were trying to get. So I built this stubby little stupid looking cannon. Do you remember how ridiculous it looked? Everyone called it little stubby. And so then we brought it out to the bomb range, and we had a cinder block wall with bed liner covering it. And then we had 2 or 3 garbage cans.
Four barrels of water. And then behind that, a soft embankment of dirt that the Cannonball. So it was like we had safety after safety after safety. And we've done this before and never had an issue with a Cannonball getting lost. But at this one particular day, things went slightly wrong, and the Cannonball went through the wall. It went through the 4 barrels of water, and instead of embedding into the dirt, launched it out from the bomb range, and from what I understand, into a neighborhood, bounced off the sidewalk, bounced through a front door, bounced through a house, and then into the next neighborhood, onto a rooftop, and then bounced into the next neighborhood and into a minivan. And thank the stars, nobody actually got hurt. But what a crazy day. I mean, you were the one that had to deal with this when all of a sudden the fire truck showed up and was like, did you guys lose anything? Things going wrong like that is not something that usually happened. And so for us, it was, I think we were all traumatized. Like, we instantly took pictures off social media and just, we all kind of were like, okay, what are we going to do? How do we make this right? How do we figure out how everybody is taken care of? Like, everybody jumped into action because this was scary.
Well, I mean, I don't remember it that way, to be honest. I remember when we were there, we had we had been shooting it off, using a pound of black powder, and we were hitting it into the dirt, hitting our target, and then it was the last shot, and then we were debating because remember you and I were like, JD, should I do 2 pounds? And you're like, I don't know, and we both kind of were like, why not? Let's go for it. And I lit the fuse. We got down to the bunker. It went into the ground, and we all thought it went into the side of the hill. And it wasn't until later, like you said, that the fire department came up to the bomb range, and they're like, "Hey, are you guys shooting any ordnances? Like, are you firing off any explosives?" And we're like, "No, why?" And they're like, "Well, a projectile just went over the hill." And we said, "Oh my God, it went over the hill. We feel so bad," because just over the hill was just land. But when he goes, no, it went over the hill 3/4 of a mile into a neighborhood. And then that's when we were all like, oh, shit.
So how that went for me was I wasn't even up there when that cannon shot was lit. I was down talking with my boss, the sheriff. I heard it. I go, oh, that's their final shot of the day. I even said it. And so when that shot was fired, it went through the wall. It missed the water, Tory.
We all agreed that big giant berm was going to be a good backstop. My aim was just a little high.
But it turned into a ramp. It turned into
Tory.
ramp and just launched it. And then
so it hit the hill, and you could see it. I bet you if I went up there today, I might even be able to point out where it is. It actually hit the hill twice. It went boom, boom, and put this top spin on this cannonball that was unbelievable. So like if you play tennis, you hit that thing and you have that top spin, but it hit that driveway, top spin that thing right through the front door, up the stairwell, the trajectory of the stairwell, out the back of the house. It hit one wall inside the house, another one out of the house, crossed over a street, hit a roof, knocked a couple tiles off the roof, then continued and went, hit another house, didn't do a lot of damage to that house, and then bounced and went right through the passenger side window of a van and landed right in the floorboard. Nothing but net. It was a perfect shot.
I mean, that is just so insane. You could not replicate that if you tried. It was bananas.
Remember how our guts, when we found out that it had traveled so far and went into a neighborhood, we all just instantly felt sick to our stomach. We're like, was anybody hurt? Like we were in shock.
When we found out nobody was hurt, it was like,
that was the main thing. And I think I said it on the day it happens. We had a lot of things go wrong, and then a lot of things went right.
Yeah.
Because everything went wrong, so it flew out of the range, and everything went right because nobody got hurt.
Yeah, I remember you were on the phone with Ahern, and he was like, is anybody dead? And you're like, no. Is anybody injured? And you went, no. And he was like, okay, I can deal with this. And it was like, he totally went to bat for us.
He was very good about things like that. In fact, he actually joked with me when he called me. He said, he goes, well, were there any pirates around? Like maybe somebody else did it, And I go, no, I'm pretty sure this was coming from us, but no pirates around.
You had to get in front of it. You had to actually go on the news and explain this because it was also a very slow news day. I mean, people in other countries were letting me know that they had seen that on the news.
Oh, yeah.
They called it the shot heard around the world. Even like SNL, their weekend update, it was Seth Meyers said, he was like, here's a myth. If you live in a suburban neighborhood, you won't get hit. You won't get hit by cannon fire. Myth busted. And it literally was the shot heard around the world.
And I'm a bomb guy. I'm not a cannon guy, by the way.
Right.
I joke with people because, you guys had a cannon people up there.
Yeah. Do you remember how quickly they packed up and got the hell out of there?
I tell people this all the time. The three known fastest thing to man is the speed of light, the speed of sound, and the speed of that cannon expert getting off the bomb range when that cannon went through the house. They DS the area quicker than anybody I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. I called you that night after you were on the air just to check in and be like, how did it go? What, are we done? What's going on? Do you remember what you told me?
I do remember what I told you. You want me to say it or you want to say it?
I'd like to hear it from your mouth.
I called Tory up and he goes, "Hey, JD, what's going on?" And the first thing I told him was, "Nice shot, asshole."
Now, JD, because you were such an important guest for us, because you're also you were such a big part of the show, we would love it if you would stay with us for the next part of our show, which is basically we always answer some fan questions. So we put it out onto the internet that what would you ask JD? And we got a bunch of answers back because people love you. So if you wouldn't mind, would you stick around and answer some of the fan questions?
I would love to do this. Are you kidding me?
All right, Tory, do you have a list of questions for JD? We took these right off of the Instagram. So, guys, if you have questions for us in the future, always we're very responsive. We read all of your questions and your comments and all the clips that you send to us. So keep doing that. But all these ones are for our guest JD. This one is from @NathanFishern F7. What was most terrifying on the job experience that you can tell us?
I would say, there's always moments of terror or stress that, happens, when you got people with guns and you got, different things that happen. In the course of any law enforcement person's career, you're going to have these things. Probably what's unique with my career is when they had the quake in 1989.
Oh, yeah.
I got immediately assigned to the coroner's bureau because the sheriff office is the coroner. So I'm down at the Cypress structure, which collapsed. Yep. And you're doing body recovery. And it was me and a couple other guys, a sergeant. And we're crawling in probably a 2-foot space that's between the upper deck and the lower deck, and you're picking up, to be graphic, you're picking up body parts, you're picking up bones, you're picking up, stuff.
And there's still aftershocks happening at the time.
And that's what happened. It was an aftershock.
No.
And it went like this. And you're already in like a 2-foot space of cement. And you're like, ooh, and you're like waiting it out.
Dude.
And you're waiting it out and you're like, okay. And so then you're like,
this is why you guys are heroes, because the fact that you would do that.
The sergeant there was a guy named Mark Thompson, is like, JD, Don George, my buddy, my partner. He's like, JD, Don, let's get the hell out of here. Get that thing. Let's get the hell out of here. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
And so we got out
and
oh boy, we were shaking our heads and like, it was one of those ones where you're kind of like, well, if this happens, it's going to be quick.
Oh my God.
It's going to be quick. So that was, and we talk about this in our career. Guys and I talk about this. Pretty much every police officer sees everything. About 90% of, just the names, faces, locations change. You pretty much get the same thing in your career. There's about 8% that's based on your specific locale that people see. Like, if you have a stadium, you're going to have stadium problems. If you have tornadoes, you're going to have tornado, earthquake. But then there's like 2% of things that maybe you and like 3 other people in the entire world ever experience. And that kind of felt like one of those moments where you're like, yeah, that's not going to happen that often to people, but it probably has happened.
All right. This question comes from @ShutLA28. Was there ever a time where the MythBusters team did not follow safety instructions? Come on, JD. Help us out here.
You can talk smack on us. It's okay.
We always followed protocol. Come on.
I think they were pretty good about it. I don't remember anything that was, too... because for one, when you're dealing with explosions, I'm the ultimate say, because I'm the one that's going to cap it and make it happen. So it's only going to happen if I say it's okay, it's going to happen. As far as explosions go, I guess you could say, well, when the cannonball fired and it missed the water, okay, that would be one that we didn't do exactly correct. But that was just an error. It wasn't like, hey, we're not going to tell him and we're just going to do it our own way. That never happened.
We were safe. We were actually safe on that show because we thought about it. The things where we always got hurt were when it was something dumb. We did something.
You guys always got hurt with like moving like blast shields and things. You know that
those were the most dangerous things on the set.
No, it was like the setup, and guys would
break
hit
their
their
fingers on
or-
them.
Yeah.
Toes.
They were
was-
200 pounds a piece, made with it was like 4-inch thick. Those blast shields, were going to save our life, but they might break us on the way to it.
Right. It was that's where in my experience, that was where people got hurt, not from the that's just bomber. It's and the same could be said for the firearm range. Nobody got hurt there because we had our firearms instructors that basically say, hey, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it. And you guys never varied from safety protocols as far as I know.
All right, this question comes from @thatgirlanna101. Good name. Any advice on how to get a job in law enforcement? I am an SFPD cadet.
Oh, every single agency is hiring.
Wow.
I don't know one that isn't. Everybody's short. So all you got to do is apply and pass physical, pass the background, pass the psych. And it's not like days past where you had to really, really compete. Now they're really looking for people. So if you want to get into law enforcement, this is the time to do so.
You're looking for good people.
We're looking for good people.
Well, thank you, JD.
yeah,
thank you
thank
for
you,
answering all the
JD.
fan questions, and thank you
Dude,
for
That was
hanging out
easy.
with
You
us.
guys went easy on me.
So good to see you. I miss hanging out with you. I thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been fun to catch up and relive moments from the show.
You got any last words? Because we're probably going to play you out on your famous song that Tory coined.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sing it, Tory.
Go JD, go JD. Fill this piano with some TNT.
With that, make sure to follow, like, subscribe, and that's it. Go JD and the Mythfits out.
Hi JD, this one's for you.
Go JD, fill this piano with some CNT.